The last thing that I will end with, self-accountable. SubhanAllah, you don't find a person that was more self-accountable than Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu, so much so. Who can tell me the most famous statement of muhasabah, the most famous statement of accountability? I got it in Arabic and English, right? Not that one, not that one. That's coming, inshallah ta'ala. But, and jazakumullah khair, may Allah reward you. Famous statement, حَاسِبُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ قَبْلَ أَن تُحَاسَبُوا. Hold yourselves accountable before you are held accountable. وَزِنُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ قَبْلَ أَن تُوزَنُوا. And weigh yourself before you are weighed, meaning your deeds. Put yourself in the scale of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before Allah puts you in His scale. فَإِنَّهُ أَهْوَنُ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الْحِسَابِ غَدًا أَن تُحَاسِبُوا أَنفُسَكُمُ الْيَوْمِ. It'll be easier for you to hold yourselves accountable today than to be held accountable tomorrow. Hold yourselves accountable. SubhanAllah, with Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, as many times as the Prophet ﷺ gave him the glad tidings of Jannah, as many times as the Prophet ﷺ assured him, all of the dreams the Prophet ﷺ had about him, the Prophet ﷺ saying that if there was to be a prophet that would come after me, it would have been Umar. All of these things, and Umar radiallahu anhu would go to Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who was the secret keeper of the Prophet ﷺ, who knew the names of the hypocrites, and ask Hudayfa, am I one of them? Am I one of the munafiqeen? Can you imagine that? That was the amount of his holding himself accountable, where he would ask Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman radiallahu ta'ala anhu that question. Just a few narrations inshallah ta'ala, and then we'll stop. We find a narration where Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, لو نادى مناد من السماء أيها الناس إنكم داخلون الجنة كلكم أجمعون إلا رجلا واحدا لخفت أن أكون هو. SubhanAllah. He said that if a caller from the heaven was to call out and say, "Oh people, all of you are entering Jannah together, except for one person," he said, I would be afraid that maybe that's me. That's powerful self-accountability. I mean, would you feel pretty safe knowing all the terrible people that have walked the face of the earth? Like if a person called from Jannah and said, all of you go to Jannah except for one person, probably think you're not that person. Umar radiallahu anhu said, I would think that it might be me. But then he said, وَلَوْ نَادَى مُنَادٍ أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ إِنَّكُمْ دَاخِلُونَ النَّارِ إِلَّا رَجُلًا وَاحِدًا لَرَجَوْتُ أَنْ أَكُونَ هُوَ. But then he said, if a caller announced that all of you are entering in the hellfire except for one person, I would hope Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would make me that one person. That's the balance of hope and fear. And I end, subhanAllah, with Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu when he appointed him as Khalifa, because we're going to pick up next week with his Khilafah radiallahu ta'ala anhu as the shepherd leader. Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he appointed him as the Khalifa, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said about Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, he said, أَفْرَسُ النَّاسِ ثَلَاثَةً. The three people, or the best three people in regards to their intuition, the three that got things right, they saw things the right way, were three people. He said the first one, بنت صاحب مدين حيث قالت يا أبتي استأجره إن خير من استأجرت القوي الأمين. The girl in Madian who said to her father, right, "Oh my father, appoint him, because the best of those that you appoint is the strong and the trustworthy one." Meaning the girl who saw something in Musa alayhi salam. So that's the first person with great intuition. The second person, he said, was the wife of Al-Aziz, when she saw Yusuf alayhi salam, and she said, "Asa an yanfa'una aw natakhidahu walada." You know, he looks special. This boy has something in him. So, akrimi mathwa. Let's take care of him. It might be that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will benefit us through him, or we would take him as a son. And he said the third one, Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he saw in Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu that he was the proper Khalifa. What a favor that Abu Bakr did for us, radiallahu anhu, by appointing Umar as the Khalifa. And subhanAllah, when you see Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu appointing Umar as the Khalifa, he's asking the companions, what do you think? What do you think? He's calling Usayd ibn Hudayr, he's calling Abdurrahman ibn Auf, he's calling Ali ibn Abi Talib, he's calling Az-Zubayr, he's calling all of these companions, he's asking them one by one for their opinion about Umar. And I have to end with this one because it speaks to all of the virtues that we've spoken about. The best answer he got was from Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And realize Uthman is literally next in line, right? I mean, he's Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Who is more beloved? He's in the running, right? Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu asked Uthman radiallahu anhu, tell me what you know about Umar ibn al-Khattab. And Uthman said, you know him better than I do, right? I mean, you know Umar, of course. It's Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Bakr and Umar, right? And he said, even so, Ya Aba Abdullah, speaking to Uthman, he said, tell me what do you think about Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu? He says, Allahumma ilmi bihi anna sariratahu khayrun min alaniyatihi wa laysa fina mithlah. He said, by Allah, what people don't know about him is even better than what people know about him. How amazing is that? I know for a fact that if people knew his secrets, they would admire him even more than they admire him right now. His private life would make him more worthy of the position that you are appointing him to than all of the public virtues that we know about him. وَلَيْسَ فِينَا مِثْلًا. And there is no one amongst us that is like him. Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said, رَحِمَكَ اللَّهِ يَا أَبَا عَبْدِ اللَّهِ. May Allah have mercy on you, O Abu Abdullah. And he said, Wallahi, if I was not to choose him, I was going to choose you. Like, subhanAllah, you gave me everything I needed to hear about Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. I know him, but I'm doing my due diligence. But his private life is even better than his public life. His secrets are even better than what people know about him. All of the virtues of Umar radiallahu anhu can be summed up with ikhlas, with sincerity. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be pleased with him. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be pleased with us. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us these noble characteristics, these noble qualities, these noble virtues, and to gather us with the Prophet ﷺ, with the companions, with the prophets, with the righteous ones, with the martyrs in the highest level of Jannat al-Firdaus. Allahumma ameen. Inshallah ta'ala, next week we will continue with Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.